Hello, and welcome to another BTFO. Today we're going to be covering the scary movie Kiss of the Spider-Woman. Now, yeah, this isn't necessarily a horror movie. There are horror elements in it, but obviously it's more of a drama musical. I'm gonna say right off the bat, I wouldn't recommend this. I don't know, it's kind of complicated because I think overall the end product is bad, but I think there's a lot of good things in it. So I don't know, I guess if you're really dying to check it out, go ahead, but for most people, I would not recommend this. I really only saw this because Diego Luna was in it, and so I was kind of curious, oh, okay, another big project after Andor, what's it gonna be? And I did not know going into it that it was a musical, which was very interesting. But I don't know, the first portion of this movie, because it's kind of split into two portions, because there's a very, I don't want to say out of place, but maybe rushed development is a good way to put it, that happens at one point in the movie, and it kind of splits into two, where I think the first part of the movie is actually pretty good and pretty solid, whereas after that development, I think it starts to unravel. But so the movie takes place in the early 80s Argentina, during their military coup, and so Diego Luna plays Valentin, and he's a political prisoner, and he gets a new cellmate, Molina, and I'm not even gonna try and say that actor's name, and I'm gonna say right here, I will be referring to them as their character, because I don't really know or care in real life whether they're a trans man, trans woman, if that was just part of the role or not. I have no idea, and I don't really care. But basically, this new cellmate for Valentine is like a flamboyantly gay man. I don't know. They lightly tack on trans stuff, where he keeps kind of saying that he wishes he was a woman, but up until the very end of the movie, they don't really go too far into that. So for most of the movie, they just treat him as a gay man. So that's kind of how I'll be referring to him. But it's kind of funny because he is flamboyantly gay, but he also doesn't care at all about the revolution or anything going on, whereas Valentine is a diehard revolutionary, and even though he's pretty communist, he's really based when it comes to social issues. So it's kind of funny to the juxtaposition between them, where Valentine keeps telling Molina hey, basically stop, why do you humiliate yourself? Molina's oh, but I got all this decorations and stuff for my cell because I basically let the guards use my body like a whore. And it's oh, okay. And yeah, and Valentine's yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should value yourself a little bit more than that. But it's kind of funny where Molina basically is obsessed with this musical, Kiss of the Spider Woman. And so night by night, Melina keeps relaying parts of the musical to Valentine, and it's really funny to like watch Diego Luna basically like he keeps like poking holes in the musical and being like, oh well, that's not realistic, or like, oh that's like pretty cliche and stuff. And it's like that's a lot of fun, and like the musical sequences are bright and colorful. The songs are okay. I'm not gonna say any of them are great. None of them were like particularly catchy or stuck with me, but they're not, you know, as much as I think this might be this year's Amelia Perez, the songs are definitely done better than Amelia Perez. But yeah, so I don't know, it's kind of, then we get into the like big event that happens where so we've learned throughout the course of the movie, and like, yeah, the musical sequences are, it's kind of nice in a way because they are basically just little like breaks that just sum up like, hey, this is what you're supposed to have like taken away from this last little bit of like character interaction between Melina and Valentine. Like, you know, take that away and then we'll move on to the next section. And so the musical parts basically act as short little summaries, which is kind of nice going through the movie, that it's like, oh, okay, it's nice to, you know, have a little break that lets you know, like, hey, here's the important information going forward. But then at one point, so we learned that Melina is there in that cell as an informant as well as a prisoner. And he's basically trying to get Valentine to break, to give away some sort of information on the revolution. And in return, the government will release Melina back to his dying mother, or I guess just sick mother. And so then he really hasn't gotten anything out of Valentine other than like the name of his girlfriend, Marta, the first name of her. Then they drag Diego Luna Valentine off to interrogation, and he comes back, and then they give each other food, or they give both of them food, and Melina's plate is or I guess I should say Valentine's plate is noticeably more full than Melina's plate, and so Valentine insists that Melina take the larger plate, and it's been poisoned, and so they call the guards and take Melina into like the infirmary, and then he comes back, and I'm trying to remember. I think, yeah, it's a matter of he was in the infirmary for like 3 days, and then during that time they didn't feed Diego Luna, and so when he gets back, they give them both like big plates, and Diego Luna's like, screw it, like I don't care if it's poisoned, like I haven't had anything to eat in 3 days, I have to eat this. And sure enough, it is poison, and so then Diego Luna says like, no, like they can't take me to the infirmary. If they take me to the infirmary, they're gonna get me hooked on morphine, And so then Melina like helps him to like vomit up the poison, and then it's kind of weird where it seemingly comes out of nowhere, where Diego Lunda's like, wow, like, you helped me with that, that's great, now I'm gonna fuck you in the ass. It's like, wait, what? Like, hold on. where did this come from? And yeah, and it's kind of weird because the film wants you to believe that, like, oh yeah, they both just love each other now, even though it's like, well, no, hold on, this relationship is built entirely on them like manipulating one another. You know, it's like, I don't know that that's what the film wants to say. But like, yeah, so sure enough, they form a relationship, and and then like the rest of the musical that gets told is basically that Aurora, the main lead of the musical, she has to give away her lover to the Spider Woman, who will protect the village from the monsters, just for the sacrifice of the lover from the village. And so the idea being that, like, oh, sometimes you have to sacrifice something that you really care about in order to like protect everyone else. And it's like, yeah, that can work as an idea. I really don't know that the film like does that in a good way, I guess, because then basically Melina gets told that, like, yeah, we're just gonna release you because like tensions are basically building up, and so they're either trying to release prisoners to make it look less bad, or they're like, okay, well, we can only hold so many people, so maybe like the queers, we can just let them go. Like, you know, they're not as bad as the revolutionaries, right? And so then, like, before he goes, Valentine tells him some information to pass on to the revolution, in hopes that if the revolution wins faster, then he'll have a chance at being released. And then Melina goes home and like sees that his mother's all better, and then decides, like, you know what, yeah, I am gonna help the revolution. And so he goes and he passes on the information, but he's done it in such a way that like the government catches him, and so like before he's caught, the revolutionaries shoot him to like ensure that he doesn't give away what information they got. And then like we see Diego Luna get released from prison, and he's got a handkerchief from Melina, and he's like, oh, we made it. And I was like, I don't know that that's like, you know, because it's like, I don't know that that was, you know, Melina. I don't think Melina, like, the film didn't really make a big effort to be like, oh yeah, Melina is doing this for the good of others. It's more, no, I had a boyfriend in prison and I want to get him out. And I was like, oh, I feel like that wasn't the point, though. Like, you know, like, it feels a little bizarre where it's like, I don't know if you can have both. Like, oh, I wanted to do this for selfish reasons, but also, you know, it's very unselfish of me to do this. It's like, okay, sure. I don't know if you can really have it both ways, but, you know, if you think you can, all right. Yeah, and I don't know. It's a weird, like, because yeah, the film never really acknowledges that they both manipulated each other. Like, the way the film ends is like, oh yeah, because it's like, yeah, I know it's a little more sad, but I feel like the realistic ending would, be Diego Luna, like, getting out and then going and getting with his girlfriend. Like, it's like, I feel like, sorry, but that's probably the more realistic ending. And, and you could have that be a commentary on, like, oh, like, Molina sacrificed himself, but who really remembers that? Like, turn it into, because it already is like a tragedy, but for some reason they're like, no, he, like, Valentine, he was really in love. It's like, was he? Because I don't know, man, it feels a little weird that, like, he just manipulated the hell, like, he literally got fucking Molina killed because of his, like, information that he was passing on. I was like, oh, I don't know that, like, he would really care that much, it feels weird, because it's like him forming a romantic relationship with him comes out of nowhere, and, like, and I don't know, some of the social commentary stuff is just, like, guys, is this really the time and place where, like, they have Diego Luna at some point say, oh, like, after fucking his butt buddy, he's like, oh, maybe they're right, maybe gender is just a social construct. And it's like, guys, I don't know that you want to, like, say that in this, like, in the context of, like, prison butt buddies. Like, I don't really think that you want to be like, well, yeah, one of them assumes the feminine role, that being the one who decorates the cell and cooks and cleans. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know that that's really what you wanted to say. But yeah, it's this bizarre, like, I think there are good ideas in there. The other social commentary thing is the, like, transness of it, where I guess that does go into, like, gender as a social construct, but the idea of Molina being a trans, like, it really feels tacked on, where it's like, no, I get that you want them to be in a relationship to have your end payoff, and it's like, yeah, that can work if they're gay, but, like, it never really works, in the sense of, like, Valentine's never like, oh, I wouldn't get with a man, but because you're a woman, like, because I see you as a woman, like, that's why I'm getting with you. It's like, yeah, it's never really like that. Like, Molina is, for the most part, just presented as gay. Up until, like, really the very end, where they have this big musical number where Molina finally transforms into a woman, and this is after he's dead, by the way. And it's like, oh, yeah, again, like, I don't know why this is really here. It feels like another box that you wanted to check, and it's like, oh, I don't really think we needed that in this story. Like, maybe you should have made your story about that rather than just, like, tacking it on. But yeah, I don't know, it's a weird, because, like, I do think that all of the acting is done pretty well. Like, all the singing and dancing is also done pretty well. Diego Luna gives a great performance, but, like, everyone gives a pretty good performance, including Jennifer Lopez, which, I don't know, was kind of interesting, because she's mostly just singing. Like, there's very few times that they have her act, because she's playing the actress from the musical, and that's really her only role. So yeah, I don't know, like, she did all right. Um, but yeah, it's kind of a weird. It's one of those movies where it's like, I think if they really buckled down and said, okay, we need to like focus this story, I think it could be good. Like, it might be a story that like I could disagree with elements of, but I could see that it was well presented. Um, I really do think that the sudden like change to being gay, like, that just comes out of nowhere, seemingly isn't recognized as like the manipulative situation that it is, where like, yeah, I don't know, it doesn't feel very good to me that the film is like, oh yeah, they fell in love, when it's like both of them were just manipulating each other. Like, Melina wanted to get information out of Valentine, and Valentine wanted Melina to pass on information. And it's like, yeah, I don't know that you could really say that, oh yeah, they loved each other, that's why they did it. It's like, no, I think they just did it for like need. But I don't know that that's a conversation the film really wants to have. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this movie. I know I've referred to it as this year's Amelia Perez, and I think it very much could be. I think it's executed a lot better than Amelia Perez was. Like, it's nowhere near as hilariously bad. I really doubt that Diego Luna has a bunch of Spanish tweets that we should go through. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. I do think it's a movie that could have been executed a lot better than it was. But yeah, I guess that's really it for my brief thoughts on Kiss of the Spider-Woman. It's a little lame that Peter Parker never showed up. I'm kidding, but yeah, okay. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.